What is up, people of the world? I'm back with another video. As if anyone is watching these. But for this video, I wanted to, because I see these videos all the time, and I saw them mostly when I worked at this place. But I kind of just want to give my experience. So, for a long time, from June 1st of 2017 until December 24th of 2023, it was 6.5 years, a little more than that. But I worked for Domino's. Now, my experience is going to be completely different than other people's because different scenarios, there's different managers, different owners. If it's a franchise, you got to deal with those owners. If it's a corporate store, then you have to deal with corporate specifically. But yeah, the one that I worked for 6.5 years was a franchise. There were two owners, and they owned, I think 4 or 5 stores. 2 in the state that I live in, and I think 2 or 3 in the state next to us. The way that I got into working for Domino's is I didn't want to work there. My story is that I had friends that worked there prior to me working there, because it was literally like a 30-second walk from our high school. And they asked me for a couple of years, from sophomore year to when I got hired right after senior year, because I graduated 2017. I graduated a week after I started at Domino's. And they wanted me to work there, and my thing was no, I don't want to work there. And it wasn't because of the job itself, it's because the general manager at the time was my stepbrother. And I know working with him was just going to be annoying, because that's just our relationship. He's a goofy guy. But I was going to graduate, didn't have a job, because I had a job the year prior, but I quit there after 6 months because I didn't like it, and I didn't like the management and the people that worked there, so I left. But with this place, I was just whatever. So I applied, got hired, did the training, and I was just a normal CSR, which is the customer service representative, which the job for that is answer phones, take orders, do ovens, and make food. And it normally ran there were 4-hour shifts. So I did that, started off 3 days a week, then I went to 4, and then eventually went up to 5. And I was a CSR until it was December of 2019. Was it 2018? I'm sorry. So about a year and a half of just being a CSR, and because of people quitting and everything, I ended up becoming a shift lead. Because the one thing about the store is hard to keep people, but we needed shift leads. I didn't really want to do it, and the only difference between a CSR and a shift lead is you're kind of the boss when the GM's not there, and you have to close the store or open it. And opening, you have to do prep for the day. If not, the night people don't have food to sell. You have to do food orders if needed when you open. Like on specific days, food orders need to be done. And then if you close, you have to clean the store. You're there until like 1, 2, sometimes 3 in the morning, just depends. Clean the store, do inventory for the day. You have to count all the money, put in all the receipts into the computer, all that stuff. And I did that as a shift lead, like I said, from the end December 2018 all the way till January of 2020. And from that time, I made so much money, dude. Like, it was very stressful because of the people not coming in. I ended up for a few months was working 6 days a week. Like, I was doing a lot of hours. Thankfully at the time, like, I was single and didn't have anything else in life to do, so I dedicated like all of my time to that, and I put in a lot of work. And it was stressful, hard getting people, so like a lot of the slack was picked up on me and like a couple other people. And yeah, it wasn't terrible, but we managed. And then the start of 2020, my stepbrother was like, hey, you're up, like, I'm promoting you to assistant manager. And I was assistant manager from then, January 2020, until I left in December of 2023. And during the whole COVID thing, terrible. It was not fun at all. The only reason why I got the assistant manager position, which I didn't want at all, he just gave it to me and told me like, hey, this is what you're doing now. And with the assistant manager position, you go from just doing the shift lead stuff and the CSR stuff to now you have to like make the schedule. If people call out, you need to deal with that stuff. If you if there's any problems, like, you're there. Like, now I had to start doing meetings with all the other GMs, and it was supposed to be all the other GMs of the stores that they owned and the AMs, but I was the only assistant manager that was there. It was only all the GMs for the other stores. I had to deal with the stuff from the owners, all that stuff. It was stressful. And I got the position because the guy who originally was hired for that position, which was my stepbrother's brother-in-law, he was an alcoholic, and there's a lot of times where he came in hammered, still still drunk from drinking all night, come to work in the morning. Some days he just wouldn't show up, would come in super late. Like, he was very unreliable, and he ended up leaving in like February of 2020. And yeah, never got fired because, it was family, and he let things slide for family, which was a trend for the place, because he hired another one of his brother-in-laws. He hired, I think, like cousins. He hired his sister-in-law, hired me, all that stuff, and hired like friends, and all of them didn't work out. I was the only one that worked out. And during COVID, it was very stressful. Like, from all of 2019 and then going through COVID was like, we were breaking records for the store when it comes to just like sales, and doing so good sales wise, which was like, we were getting praise for that, because we're making the owners more money. But when times started to get tough, and with COVID happening, the owners didn't really want to help, and that was like one of the main problems and reasons why I wanted to leave. And yeah, they just didn't want to help, and it was a struggle for a long time, for freaking 3 years that I had to deal with struggle. And you know, if we needed help, they wouldn't come in and help us. They would just get on us constantly and like bitch about like, oh, you guys need to do better, you need to do better. It's like, dude, we're trying our best. Like, we have no employees. Help us hire people. How about that? And they still wouldn't do that. They still wouldn't try to help us. Like, they appointed like the HR lady that was in the same building as us. They gave her like the power to hire and fire people for some reason. And even all of her help that she was giving didn't help us at all, because she still couldn't hire people just like we couldn't. People just didn't want to work, and they still don't want to work. Yeah, it got stressful to the point where like I was thinking that entire time, like, yo, I should have just done what some people do and just during COVID not work and collect like unemployment for the freaking 3 years. But I didn't. And yeah, the stress just got to the point. The year of 2023, they were like on us so much, and I'm just like, yo, I want to leave so bad. And people were leaving, and I was just like, yo, it's not fun anymore. People are leaving. I don't like this, and I need to go. I need to move on. And I started looking like halfway through 2023 for places, and in like November of 23, I ended up, like the end of it, getting like an interview where I work now, which I've been here for over a year and like 2 months or whatever. And I ended up putting my 2-week notice in, and I was just like, hey, I gave them a little more than 2 weeks, because I was just like, hey, Christmas Eve is going to be my last day, because we close early on Christmas Eve, and I was just like, that's just going to be my last day, and that's it. And once I did that, my stepbrother the next day put in his 2 weeks, his sister-in-law put in her 2 weeks, another shift lead put in his 2 weeks. Like, there's a bunch of us that left that same day. One of them or two of them ended up going back after because they didn't have a plan. And my stepbrother didn't work for a year, and he just got a job again. But yeah, it was very stressful, and it's because of me deciding like, hey, I'm done and I need to leave. I'm burnt out from this place. A bunch of other people left, and they ended up closing. They ended up pretty much closing the store down for a couple months, and then like opened it back up, and it was like only open like 2 days a week, but only in the like mornings to afternoon. And then like eventually they ended up getting a staff again, enough to where they can open up full time. And those owners ended up selling all of their stores also. All of the Dominos that they owned, sold them, got rid of them. They're out of that whole Domino's business and doing their other stuff, and now there's a new guy that owns that Domino's that I worked at. Hopefully they don't deal with the struggles that we dealt with. But yeah, overall, like, that's my story of working at Domino's, and I probably forgot some stuff, but I had a very fun time in the time that I was there. I made a lot of money, which, if people think like you can't make money working at a place like Domino's, you can. I was making $50,000 a year. People go to college to make, that much. Like, with tips, bonuses that you get for good numbers, and your normal pay, you're making so much money. I was averaging like $100 a week just in tips from working inside. And you can just add that up after, you know, 52 weeks out of the year or whatever. But yeah, I made a lot of money, enjoyed my time there. It's just the owners, man. It was just the owners. It was this very bad time with them. They were very critical on everything we did, but they didn't want to put in the effort to try to help the store. Like, you know, I was literally talking to my girlfriend about it last night, and she worked there with me because I went to high school with her, and you know, we were talking about the same thing. Like, they wanted the money, but they didn't want to put in the effort to try to earn the money. You know, they're over here buying planes and going on vacations every other week, but they couldn't help their employees when they were struggling. And that was my big problem with Domino's. And, you know, I don't know how corporate stores are. I bet they're a little more hard to work at because they're like, they nitpick everything, but I bet they treat people better. There's better pay, you know. But yeah, if you ever work at a Domino's and you become a manager of some sort, you know, hopefully your owner that you work for is a nice person, nice guy or girl, or guys or girls, you know, whoever. Yeah, it was a good time. I recommend it to anybody who's like just starting out and hasn't really worked. It's a good experience to have. It's a lot of hard work if you do all of the steps that I did, but I don't think you'll regret it. But yeah, that's my Domino's experience. Let me know. Ooh, my thumb just cracked. Let me know what your guys' experiences are or were. And yeah, thanks for watching if you are watching. See you guys in the next random video that I post.